Yes, my people, finally, yes, the US Army don't do, finally, yes, officer, finally, yes, yes, they don't do, finally.
Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, release Nnamdi Kanu under 72 hours and failure to do so.
99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra.
I will burn down Nigeria beyond repair and will never look back. Remain in your country and build it.
Please hold on before I go play the full video on how US want to make sure say Biafra they recognize all whole worldwide, because Biafra have already been tabled to Donald Trump and they know about every single thing where they go on, and they are coming for the Christian. And who is the Christian? Biafras are the Christian. Donald Trump don't receive a lot of information about Biafra, and they're not sending troops to Nigeria to fight the terrorists where they terrorize the Christian. And somebody go ask, say, how it they concern Biafra? Biafra na Christian states. Biafra na who be the Christian states? So now Biafra. If you go to Yoruba land, you go see more majority of them are Muslim. Now if you go to Hausa land, all of them, almost all of them, 90% of them are Muslim. So who in they come fight for? And now you go ask how in they receive the information about Biafra. Mazina the Kano send a letter as of last year. If you have been following up on what is going on, now what will they tell you? And I say make una the word video to the end, so that una go they understand what they go on. So Mazina the Kano sent a letter to him last year to show that he have received the letter, and again, who is that Christian state where we say we do always emphasize them. If you look at where Mazina the Kano they always talk, they always talk say Nigeria is a terrorist state, is a terrorist country. So it is not clear to them, and they don't understand. Say no think say Donald Trump no know what thing they do. No think say Donald Trump never make research about Tinubu and his kind of personality. No think say Donald Trump never Google everything concerning Nigeria before he started to make this move. So you know people will be say na bad people, you know people will be say no be better people, but he need to play along with them and follow the rule of law to make sure they actualize within they actualize. So by the end of everything where they go on, by the end of all these fights, I believe two things must happen. Mazina the Kano must be released and Biafra must be declared. One thing must happen in this. They must divide this country, and after everything, Mazina the Kano go release. Because if you look at, in fact, I'm not going to just talk much. Pay attention, listen to it in this young man talk, and drop your opinion at the comment section. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. A lot is about to happen. As time goes on, things will be unfolding. So listen to what in this young man talk. Israel is in this matter. The US now have already entered Nigeria right now, so they on top of the matter. They make sure say they come everywhere then and to do justice to whosoever person where do you say they won't do justice. Last time they don't open file, US Congress don't discuss about division of the country into two after everything that they finalize on how to divide it into four. So which means everything is going in line, everything is going in a way where we say everybody go there just by this time next year, everybody that go just day in on separate country. Either everybody go to discuss on how to make sure say they push forward for their own country. So I'm not going to just bore you with talk. Just pay attention, watch this video, and drop your opinion at the comment section. What you think, share this video at the comment section. And after this is, do you think that he will divide this country immediately, or do you think that they will go back, discuss more? Because they don't send in troop, they don't send all the whole, and they don't send a little troop on Nigeria right now. So drop your opinion at the comment section. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Make sure you share this video right now, and don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.
Nigeria is a forced union of so many nations in one. Even if no other person agrees to that, Ask any Igbo person, ask any Biafran. 99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra. Benjamin Netanyahu many years ago was talking about the thing that happened in Biafra, and he mentioned it in his own state address. Biafrans went to war for 3 years with Nigeria because they wanted freedom. And you are here talking about the two-state solution when you have not settled the issue of Biafra.
Biafrans all over the world. Baliaki, watch this video from beginning to the end. Don't even skip any part of it. Biafra is already here. Watch this video from beginning to the end. This our brother Furu. A lot of things. Biafra is already here. We don't need to panic. Nigerian government is in a big mess. Baliaki, watch this video. Dikina watch here. Can you also surround you watch? Thank you. I will see you at the end of the video. Bye for now.
Let me tell you where this started from. This outcry is as a result of the very undiplomatic behavior of Nigeria's vice president. And it happened when? This happened in September of this year. And this was September 24, 2025. And what was the occasion? It was a statement when the vice president of Nigeria, I'll give you the caption of his statement. It says, statement delivered by His Excellency Kashim Shettima, GCOM Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, during the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Remember that video of your vice president where he was campaigning or canvassing for the freedom of Palestine? Let's not talk too much. I want you to watch the video of your vice president at the United Nations.
We are despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. Their ambition is to divide us and to poison our humanity with a toxic rhetoric of hate. Our difference is the distance between shadow and light, between despair and hope, between the ruin of anarchy and the promise of order. We do not only fight wars, we pit and shelter the innocent victims of war. This is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins. We do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine.
This is the vice president of Nigeria, not Palestine. The journey from Palestine, from Nigeria to Palestine by air is 3,700 kilometers. But the vice president of Nigeria was at the United Nations. And what formed the basis, the core of his speech was Palestine. Just stay calm and come with me. Let me walk you through the process of why we got to where we are. The section where he started talking about Palestine, it starts with number 9 of his points. Be patient with me. I'm going to read you something and explain to you what I'm reading, so you understand why Israel sees this as a matter of life and death. They must be involved. So the number 9 point he was making here in his speech, okay, you didn't hear that one. He says, Nigeria's soldiers and civilians carry a proud legacy. They have participated in 51 out of 60 United Nations peacekeeping operations since our independence in 1960. We have stood with our partners in Africa to resolve conflicts, and we continue that commitment today through the multinational joint task force. At home, we confront the scourge of insurgency with resolve. From this long and difficult struggle with violent extremism, one truth stands clear. Military tactics may win battles measured in months and years, but in wars that span generations, it is values and ideas that deliver the ultimate victory. Can you imagine the vice president of Nigeria is about to talk about Palestine, and he started first of all by talking about the military might of Nigeria. Keep your mind on what I just said. You are about to speak on Palestine and Israel, and you started by talking about how powerful Nigerian military is and how many peacekeeping operations we have had to get involved in since our independence. So let's go to item number 10. So number 10, he says, we are despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. Their ambitions is to divide us and to poison our humanity with a toxic rhetoric of hate. Our difference is the distance between shadow and light, between despair and hope, between the ruin of anarchy and the promise of order. We do not only fight wars, we feed and shelter the innocent victims of wars. Are you hearing? The vice president of Nigeria, he's about to talk about Palestine. And look at all the things he's saying. He now says, this is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors, near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, in Palestine, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins. My beloved ones, I don't know any nation that will hear stuff like this and not see that this is a threat of military action against Israel. The war that is visited, the violence, that aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, and then the illegal attack on Qatar. The vice president of Nigeria basically speaking against Israel's actions in Gaza and Israel's attack on Qatar, and then mentioning war and military might in the same sentences where he's talking about what Israel is doing in Gaza. And I ask, where did the boldness come from? I will explain it when I finish reading to you the next line, the next item, which is number 11. Number 11 says, we do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine. A two-state solution. For too long, this community has borne the weight of moral conflict. For too long, we have been caught in the crossfire of violence that offends the conscience of humanity. We come not as partisans, but as peacemakers. We come as brothers and sisters of a shared world, a world that must never reduce the right to live into the currency of devious politics. The people of Palestine are not collateral damage in a civilization searching for order. They are human beings, equal in worth, entitled to the same freedoms and dignities that the rest of us take for granted. A two-state solution in Palestine. So the vice president of Nigeria, I keep mentioning that Nigeria, jets out of Nigeria, goes to the United Nations with all these powerful, subtle threats to Israel. You are talking about Israel's actions in Gaza and the bombing in Qatar, and you are saying it along with how mighty our military is, how powerful, how much wars we have fought, and the rest of them. And on top of that, you now say two-state solution. Knowing how sensitive these topics are, you're talking about two-state solution when you have people in your own country where you come from who are not even united. Nigeria is a forced union of so many nations in one. Even if no other person agrees to that, ask any Igbo person, ask any Biafran. 99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra. Benjamin Netanyahu many years ago was talking about the thing that happened in Biafra, and he mentioned it in his own state address. Biafrans went to war for 3 years with Nigeria because they wanted freedom. And you are here talking about the two-state solution when you have not settled the issue of Biafra in your own country where you came from. What gave you the audacity and the boldness to do that? It is because you believed that the conquest by Islam of Nigeria had now been completed which is why you guys had Muslim ticket. If it wasn't that there was Muslim ticket and that psychologically you believed in your mind that you guys have already conquered Nigeria, that any other thing anyone was talking about was nonsense, was balderdash, you would never have the audacity to go to United Nations rather than talking about what the terrorists are doing in Nigeria, how the terrorists are raping and killing people and dispossessing them of their homelands and farmlands, how that they have become so horrible. The impunity and the silence from the authorities and the lack of action from the Nigerian government has been so much that should have been your own speech at the United Nations. You should have been there asking for help. Instead, it was Palestine, because you felt like, well, we have gotten this nation now. We are now the giant, the Muslim giant of Africa. And so with all the might we have, resources, economic power, military, we can actually now help other Muslim brothers that are suffering. So you were basically putting yourself up as the big helper, the big savior for Palestine from Israel. And you don't know how diplomatic code words can actually ring in the ears of the opponents. Israel got it. Israel has the strongest intelligence network in the world, and so they got your message loud and clear. Little wonder the moment the whole United Nations thing was over, the outcry against Christian persecution was born. And that was how I knew that Israel was eventually going to get involved. And if you listen to that video that I played to you, you see that I talked about it, that how can jihadists reign so supreme in Nigeria? Everybody knows how much oil Nigeria has, even though the citizens don't get to enjoy it, but we know how blessed Nigeria is with natural resources. Don't talk about the gas in Imo State, that is probably the largest deposit of gas in all of West Africa. Don't talk about the oil in Eastern Nigeria, old Eastern Nigeria, comprising Rivers State, Delta State, Abia State, Imo State, even Anambra State. Everywhere, natural resources. You go up north, you see all those gold and all manner of resources you can think of. So imagine Israel saying to themselves, oh my God, is this what we are faced with now? So these guys now have taken over Nigeria, and then they gain access to the oil well. Probably as we're talking, before you know it, the terrorists who have been conquering from up north, coming to the middle belt, they have taken over local governments in Benue State. I was there when the governor of Benue State then, Otom, was saying that about 18 or 19 out of 20-something local governments have been taken over by the Fulani militia, ethnic militia, and that they have renamed the villages they took over from Christians who are now living in IDP camps. Took over Christian villages, renamed them immediately. Recently, a soldier came out and said he was leaving the army, Nigerian army. He was so angry, the video was viral. He said his anger was that they saw their own commanders in the army helping invading Fulani terrorists settle down properly in the Christian villages that they took over forcefully from Christians in Benue State. Everybody saw the video. And some others will get angry and say that every time we see Boko Haram or terrorists to shoot, and they will tell us, they will be waiting for order to shoot, and they will tell us don't shoot. And we're asking ourselves, why are we then spending all this money, security, a vote, running into millions of dollars to buy weapons, but then we can't use the weapons to kill terrorists? Look at the stupidity, the rubbish that Nigeria was doing. Thinking that nobody was watching, thinking that nothing was ever going to happen. And so the Lord orchestrated for your vice president to go out there and stir the waters and bring about this. The braggadocio had to end. The pomposity had to end. Okay? They were so arrogant about it. They were rubbing it in our faces that you've been conquered and there's nothing you can do. Nigerians were switching citizenship all over the place. Nigerians were running out. Everywhere you went, you were treated like trash as a Nigerian. Because what was happening in Nigeria, nobody could comprehend it. You are looking at the stories. A terrorist is there. You tell me not to shoot him. The terrorist is raping and killing people, taking over villages, and you're helping them to settle well. And then the people who own the villages are told to go and remain in IDP camp forever. No time for them to return to their villages. They've lost them forever. So what is probably going to happen is that they have to relocate those people to a different place. They have to lose their ancestral home. But the vice president of Nigeria is busy canvassing for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. They are busy criticizing criticizing Israel for saying that the Palestinians have to leave and go somewhere else. But the Christians in Nigeria who have lost their homes to Fulani ethnic militia are meant to be relocated to another place to lose their homelands forever. But in Palestine, they are not supposed to lose their homelands to Israel. You never thought the double standard was going to be exposed. And so now let me come down to the point I was trying to make. Every single thing that the vice president of Nigeria, every signal he sent to Israel is what he's getting back now. Let me start with the
with everything we done here, you can agree with me that everybody's fed up with the system. Everybody's fed up with this togetherness we say we did, because everybody knows say it can't work. Understand? By the end of this invitation by US Army, they will give their feedback and know say the best thing and the best solution is for everybody to have its own country. And I believe say this is one of Donald Trump agenda before he go come down office. So now we do the make everything actualize, because any other president will go come, who knows the kind of attitude where the person go portray. So I don't go just talk much. What do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section. What do you think about the move by the US government and the issue of dividing this nation into 4 or into 6 or into 3? So drop your opinion and thoughts at the comment section. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Thank you so much.